What's up, ambitious listeners? Welcome back to another episode of the Ambitious Views podcast. I'm your host, Corrigan, and this is my co-host.
What's up? It's Blaze.
I'll be switching it up on Blaze. She never
Right.
know.
I was like, wait, we pointed?
Right.
We pointed now?
Oh man, but what's up, everybody? I hope you've been having a good week so far. If you are just at the end of your spring break, in the middle of spring break, looking forward to spring break, I hope you will be enjoying it, have enjoyed it, and I hope you get another break soon. For our new listeners, just want to let you know that we focus on film, television, and sometimes anime. And as I mentioned not too long ago, we're going to try to get into gaming as well. But overall, we really love to share our point of views on unique perspectives when it comes to film and television. All right. So, welcome, welcome, welcome for those who have never been here. And welcome back to the ambitious listeners. And I just want to give a shout out to y'all for giving us love, man. Like I've been checking out the views. I've been checking out the listenings and the numbers and everything like that, and it's looking real nice. Like we really appreciate the love. And just remember that we are now on YouTube, so episodes will be posted on YouTube, along with the usual platforms, which is Instagram and Facebook. Okay, so just make sure you keep those things in mind when it comes to different platforms that you may prefer for us to be on that you can now take advantage of. We are on Spotify and we are also on Apple. Okay, so just make sure that you tune it in, whatever fits you best. And if it's some platform that you prefer us to be on and we're not on there yet, please let us know, and that's something that we can consider. Okay, but without further ado, as we always like to say, we're here for a good time, not a long time. So we're going to go ahead and get right into it by popping it off with my this or that with Blaze.
All right, let's go.
All right, Blaze. You tried to get me last week. You tried to get some people probably mad at me at that little question you had last week. So I think I got you with this one. All right.
Okay.
Imagine that Michael Myers, Jason, Scream, or whatever,
Ghostface.
Ghostface, Leprechaun, all those are coming after you. And you got one pick to choose as your ride or die to help you fight against these individuals. Your first one is Dre off of Swarm, or Love off of You. Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
See, that's a
Mhm.
hard one because their reasons for killing are very different. And so it's like just because they can kill doesn't mean they got that fight or flight in them.
Mhm.
And so, ooh, that's a tough one. I will say this. I mean, spoiler alert, Love did get outsmarted and she's dead. Another spoiler, Dre is not dead. So I feel like she got like a little bit more fight in her,
Okay.
especially that one episode when she fought when she was pretending to be a stripper and she fought that dude. So I'm gonna go with Dre. I think if she know her life is on the line, she that fight or flight may kick in
Okay.
and she may be ready to do what's needed. And also, I don't think she afraid of a little contact because
Okay.
most of her kills were what's it called? I can't think of the phrase they always use, the cops always use, but it was always contact like killing. So I'm gonna go with Drea. We gonna survive, and then I'm gonna ditch her just in case she try to kill me. Yeah. But if she asks me who my favorite artist is, Naja. Naja.
Oh man,
Oh, like
that's
nobody
funny.
else but Naja.
Oh man, that's funny. Yeah. Yeah. I had to get you with that one. As I was watching it, I think Love Off of You kind of came to mind or whatever. Because it's just like, what is going on here with Swarm? So, but anyway, y'all, as always, I hope you enjoyed these this or that's. Maybe y'all can start sending us some, and we can kind of use those this or that, so y'all can tune in and see what we'll say in the future. But overall,
Mhm.
Swarm is going to be the main topic of this episode, so definitely,
Thank you.
just keep hanging on in there with us as we go through this episode for the day. And we're gonna dig right on in it, okay? So, but before we get on in it, Blaze, what is on your watch list and what you've been checking out?
Okay, well, you already mentioned Swarm, so we will be talking about that. I actually finished that last night. Um, Daisy Jones and the Six, that's on Prime. I'm still watching that. I think the last two episodes dropped today, so I'll probably be watching that when we're done. Bel Air, that drops on Thursdays on Peacock. And then Peacock also recently dropped a new reality show, Queen's Court with Evelyn from Basketball Wives, Tamar Braxton, and Nivea. And that show is pretty cool. I finished that a little bit earlier today. Them basically finding love. It was like 21 guys, and they had to pick um the one that they wanted. So, your typical love show, but just with famous people.
Dope, 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 dope. Yeah, is Daisy Jones and the Six, is that the book that you read not too long ago from like, is that what you was mentioning last week?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Hmm.
Are you still liking it? I know I haven't checked it out yet. Are you still liking it as far as comparison to the
Oh
book?
yes, it's so good.
Okay.
Like they did the book such justice. Like yes, they made changes, but seeing it come so okay. The way the book is written is kind of like, do you remember VH1 Behind the Music?
Yeah.
So the book is written like that, like
Mhm.
pretty much that structure. And so to see them bring that to life and then also tell like the stories of the past that they tell in the book and whatever, it's really, really interesting. The casting's good. The music, because it is about a band, is actually really good. Like I said, they just did an overall good job bringing that book to life. And it's really hard to bring a book to life, but I'm proud of what they did.
Nice. That's dope. That's dope. Cool, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna have to keep that in mind, once I'm adding it. Um, I will say, for mine, and I guess that's a good transition into my list. One thing I'm trying to get into, and I may actually find start tonight, and I did see, thankfully, it's not a whole bunch of episodes, so I'm not mentally as intimidated. But one of my students have been on me about starting Breaking Bad. I've never watched it before, heard it was good, and now since I'm kind of in this in between thing with shows right now, I think I'm gonna try to get into Breaking Bad. I might start tonight right before I go to bed, maybe.
My brother has said good things about Breaking Bad, but I haven't watched it either. Mostly because after he watched it, I was still teaching, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about watching a show about a teacher who became a drug dealer. Not really feeling that, and so I never gave it a chance. But now that I'm not in the classroom, maybe someday, maybe never. It's still on my watch list on Netflix. It's been there for about 3.5 years, and so yeah.
Yeah, about the same for me. That was kind of like my same experience with I mean, not exactly like I was a nurse and I didn't want to watch Grey's Anatomy, but I had heard so much about Grey's Anatomy, and man, like those first 5 seasons was just amazing. And I will say I think between Supernatural, which I think I started watching that. Yeah, I started watching that way before I started watching Grey's Anatomy. But between Supernatural, but definitely Grey's Anatomy and Scandal, that really got me into TV shows, which I think around that time, and I
Mm-hmm.
may be wrong, but at least like public television when it comes to things that was on, common platforms like ABC and stuff like that. Um, those shows really outside of Supernatural, those shows really got me into TV watching and watching things like that. And I think the only reason why I think is because the moment that I got into it, like Scandal and like How to Get Away with Murder and Grey's Anatomy, I think the only reason why they kind of worked for me is because it was almost in a cinematic format in the way they told the stories or whatever, to where I really kind of connected to it. Because before then I was straight pretty much movies. Like I grew up with some TV shows, but more so like sitcom styles, so like Fresh Prince, Sister,
Mm-hmm.
Boy Meets World, Cosby Show, stuff like that. So but that's really dope. But yeah, but other things, I think I was in the middle of The Circle, season 5, for the last episode that we posted, but we did finish that. I honestly would say season 5 Circle is my favorite. It was really
Oh wow.
good. Um, the drama wasn't, too messy. It was just really interesting things. There was a decision at the end when they got rid of gosh, I can't even remember his name right now. But he was the guy that had a crush on Raven and then end up getting caught up doing other things or whatever. I really feel like, they shouldn't have got rid of him, but at the same time, I feel like the top 3 who was there to possibly win it, were very deserving of it. Just the way they played the game, I felt. But overall, it was a really dope season. Looking forward to the next one. I really hope, unless I'm late on it, I think it would be really cool if they created some type of like game, like a board game or something like that that everybody can play like at any time. I think that'd be really dope if they created that, or maybe you can like they toured around and they can create this whole space of like maybe within 20 minutes or something like that you can be like in a circle experience or whatever. I don't know, but the circle concept is just really dope.
I've never watched The Circle before, so I'm not
Really?
really sure. Yeah, no, never watched it.
You should. That's good passive TV. It really hit big, especially because of the pandemic, and just the whole stigma around like social media and how people use it and everything like that.
Hmm.
It's really good. I mean, believe it or not, even though these people never see each other until the end, like people get emotional,
Wow.
all the stuff like that.
It's a competition show.
Yeah, so basically the concept is that everybody is put in these different apartments and they have TV screens in the living room, bathroom, and the bedroom and the kitchen. And so basically the way they communicate is by uh basically messaging each other, right? Like DMing each other. And so, say you start off with 7 or wherever like that, and you get in, and then and what the circle does, and that's what I like how they're keeping it fresh. They're putting in different type of um, either competitions to make it interesting as far as dialogues, to even putting in little switcheroos, if you will, or whatever, to where people may have a second chance or whatever case may be. But the main thing is at the end of each cycle, in a sense, because sometimes it doesn't end in just one episode. Basically, you have to vote your top favorites out of everybody
Mhm.
based on the
Okay.
various conversations and virtual games and stuff like that. And basically, who's ever the top 1 or sometimes 2, they become influencers and they are
Hmm.
immune from going home during that cycle, but they have to decide who they want to send home that night. And then whoever is blocked, they are blocked and basically they sent home.
Okay.
And so that's how people get eliminated. And I think most of the time it's like the top 4 or 5 that end up staying to the end. And
Hmm.
so and so basically, um, whoever they do the ratings one more time at the end, and then everybody meets at the dinner table, which I don't even know if they eat or not. That that used to be the funny part. But they meet all at the same time, and then right after that, they'll go into kind of like a reunion style setup.
Hmm.
But it's like back to back to back. So basically, whoever got sent home first, they come back as well. But basically, they have been playing everybody else who have been able to stay or go straight into the reunion part. And then they show one by one countdown who is end up being number one, and then they win cash prize. I thought it was 10,000 for some reason, but this last one was $100,000.
Okay.
So they win a lot of money. But yeah, I mean
Yeah.
it's really dope. Basically, if I came in and you was in there, I can come in there and I can be like, I'm Aja.
Hmm. Oh, okay.
And I use all her pictures, talk as her.
Catfish.
Yeah, like yeah, basically catfish. And sometimes it's like people get almost dang near obsessed with trying to find out who the catfish, like if someone's a catfish or not, especially after the first season.
Oh, okay. Cool. Cool.
So, and that's
That
like
sounds
they,
interesting.
yeah, it's not even like the thing of the game to find out who a catfish is. Just whatever. Because I will say a catfish has won before. So,
Okay.
but yeah, but
I'm 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 gonna have to check that out because I do like my competition reality shows,
mm,
Survivor and the Challenge. So I have
mm,
to check that one out. And I
yeah,
know a couple of Circle people have popped up on MTV's The Challenge, and
mm.
so I may just check that out for, if they bring any other Circle people on there.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I haven't watched talent stuff in a while. I know I was watching like an old one on Netflix not too long ago, so that's cool. But yeah, I highly recommend. Good passive show. It's not super messy at all. As far as like, cringy to a certain degree or whatever like that. But I mean there are moments where it's like, oh dang, like, and it's good. I ain't gonna say too much, but it's good.
Okay.
So but yeah, like so season five finished that. I feel like that's my favorite season so far. Swarm, of course, finished that over the weekend. So looking forward to talking more about that later on in the show. And then Black Lady Sketch Show is definitely always automatically on my watch list. Very funny, very unique storytelling. Really enjoy it. It's very fresh. Basically, is it lives up to the name. It's like sketch, but it's just from Black women perspectives, and they're leading it. They're killing it. It's really dope show. Third season is nice, and that chick Angel, who I got to know through the platform of Kev on Stage, and I've been following her, especially when she and Kev started doing Here's the Thing podcast together. I've just been following her, and I follow on Instagram, all this stuff like that, like what she does. She's been acting for a while, and so she's supposed to be on this season as a full out actor. So I'm really excited.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm really excited. Just following her journey. These last 2 or 3 years, and stuff like that. So, but yeah, so that's all on my list. But we got a matter of fact. Before I move on, have you checked out Black Lady Sketch Show?
I haven't watched it in a while.
You should check it out. You should definitely check it out. It's really good. It's really good. So. But on to the real take. Blaze, I saw something, I know we usually talk about things, more so in the present, but I saw this post and I just had to add it in. And I know you was like, when you saw it in the doc, Blaze was like, Malcolm X, like, what is this about?
Yeah, I was like, is there a new Malcolm X movie? Like, do we
Right.
need that? Because Will Smith did such a great job. I
Yeah,
mean, not Will
yeah.
Smith, but Denzel.
It, yeah, Denzel Washington.
Denzel.
Denzel.
I was like,
But
dang, is his son gonna do it this time?
right. So basically, it's this social media account that I follow, Hidden Empire Film Group. And basically it posted, it's a picture of a traditional Spike Lee shot, setup or whatever like that. And Denzel is, focused, as you can see, or whatever like that, and they about to yell action. And so I was reading the caption, and basically it talked about how leading up, getting close to the end of the production of Malcolm X, um, Spike Lee was wanting more funds to be able to include the assassination portion of the film, which of course I feel like, especially those who were following him at that time and knew him, really want to see how that was going, if how and if it was going to be incorporated in the film. And even though his impact and all this stuff like that, of course, was way bigger than the assassination, of course, that is unfortunately a part of his life story, and it's always been a very unique one. Hence why the docu series that I highly recommend, "Who Killed Malcolm X," is such a big deal. All right, but anyway, it said that um, while making the movie, Lee had convinced Warner Bros. To increase the film's budget from $28 million to $34 million to include a scene that depicted the assassination of Malcolm X. All right. And so basically it says later on in the caption of this Instagram post that basically the hesitance of it was the challenge on the rating at that time, that they didn't want to, but they didn't want it to affect the film rating. And then on top of that, of course, the heaviness of that scene,
Mm-hmm.
so I thought it was really unique, and I think that goes to show that the power of, a budget when it comes to what can and cannot be included in films. And sometimes the thing that we wish could have been in there, or why did they do it like this, or something was rushed, or wherever case it be, sometimes may only come down to literally the budget. So I thought that was very unique, the fact that literally we probably wouldn't even got that whole scene if it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't for the budget.
Right. That is an interesting thing. And because that makes you rethink a lot of like things you've seen in the past, and especially about real people and why they didn't have certain things in there. And it could have simply been the budget.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I mean, that's something that I definitely keep in mind when it comes to me preparing to, pitch projects, on a bigger scale and everything like that. And then also I just feel like for other filmmakers and stuff, I think it's just smart for us to be aware, especially independent filmmakers, um, to just be aware of our preparation for getting to that next level, and just being aware of what we feel like something should truly cost, and just be ready to, to monitor and adjust when needed, to make sure the story that we want to tell is told fully, and we're not feeling kind of left out of what we felt like it could have been. So, but yeah, I thought that was pretty cool to include. Um, I didn't either. Blaze, did you know Wicked was being produced?
Of course I knew. I like musical theater, so I
Mm,
did know that.
okay, all right. Well, I'm not gonna lie, I really forgot, and maybe I
Hmm.
forgot because of the date that was mentioned by the time it was mentioned, because I feel like it was mentioned like a year or two ago.
Yeah.
Um, but for those of you who do not know, Wicked is being produced. And if I'm not mistaken, Blaze, this is like a prequel to Wizard of Oz, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so basically in this film, and this is just me like kind of guessing, but basically it's going to tell the story between the Wicked Witch of the West and the Good Witch of the South. All right. And how that all came about, and so apparently I guess things are going good on the pre-production slash production side of things, and it's said to be moving up to a release date, theatrical release date of November 27th, 2024. All right. So for those of you who are excited about the whole Wizard of Oz world, if you will, just know that a new installment is coming. All right. So
Mhm.
so yeah, that is on its way. Cynthia Erivo, I hope I'm pronouncing that name right. She'll be playing the Wicked Witch of the West, and Ariana Grande will be playing the Good Witch of the South. So it should be
Mhm.
pretty dang cool, especially if it's going to incorporate the musical side of things. Both of them are really great singers. So I'm looking forward to how that's going to turn out. But hey, good news, it's getting bumped up.
Right. I didn't realize it was going to be in multiple parts.
Yeah, I intentionally put part one. It says part one, so I just want to include it. Um, I hope that's not a spoiler to the actual story, because like how you'll watch it, I hope it's not like I know it's not gonna. I mean, when you know it's gonna be another one, it's kind of. I feel like it almost kind of spoils how things can be written. Like, so say if somebody is almost about to die or lose something or whatever like that, you know that something else is gonna happen. So, but they said part one, so
Okay. Okay.
yeah. So we're gonna see what happens. I'm actually I gotta look it up, but it actually put me in the mindset of wondering where is production at on the Willy Wonka prequel, because that's
Mm.
supposed to be in production, and I'm really excited to learn more about that, and honestly willing to see it, because I do feel like they're gonna put some good money into that, or has put money in that, and it's gonna be good. I can't remember the guy's name. But I believe he was in the movie Dune, and he's
Oh,
gonna
is his name like Thomas? Maybe
yeah,
Thomas? I
maybe
don't know. I feel he gives me Thomas vibes.
Thomas Vibes. Let's see.
Okay, it's not Thomas, but it does start with a T. Timothy Clement.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So I think he's supposed to be playing Willy Wonka. So, and I believe he may have been in something else that I've seen, but maybe I'm wrong. Uh,
Honestly, I forgot that they were doing another Willy Wonka.
yeah, yeah. It
That's
was like a
dope.
passive, like, hey, we're doing this. Because at one point, I think I had saw that Donald Glover may have been playing Willy Wonka in
Mm.
some. I think I may have seen that at one point,
They
but
were going for a horror movie. That would be good because
oh goodness, that would be creepy. That would be very
freaky.
creepy. Um, Blaze, did you like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers?
Did I? Yes. I got older brothers. So Power Rangers, Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, dun, 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 dun.
Here we
Mighty
go,
Morphin
Power
Power Rangers.
Rangers.
Yes, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers once and always is coming to
Yes.
Netflix. Who's your favorite Power Ranger?
Okay. Tommy
Okay.
and Kimmy.
Which Tommy? White or green?
Ooh, that's a hard one. Probably I want to say it was the green. Was he green when he was like when he was messing when he was beating them up?
Basically.
Beating the mess up out of
Yes.
the green one then.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. My favorite was a Green Ranger. Pretty much that's what started the whole journey of my favorite color being green. Uh
Mhm.
and stuff. So, but that's dope. Yeah. Mighty Morphin
We-
Power Rangers Once and Forever trailer, I believe, dropped today. And it looks really good. I was wondering what kind of approach were they gonna go about it, because I know they had posted another like kind of like the journey of them bringing things together. At the moment, I think it was like a little bit over a year ago. I think it was 2 years, like 28 years at that moment since it had came out, and now to be 30 years. But either way, um, it looks really good. Rita is the main villain in this film. She, I guess, has been brought
Got a new
back some
body.
type of way.
She got a new
Uh,
body.
yeah, like she's like a robot Rita, but she sounds the same, so it's pretty trippy. So I love that approach to it. You have some of the cast that's coming back from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, as far as the Black Ranger and the Blue Ranger, and then you have some from different other eras that'll be supporting. There is an individual in the Green Ranger suit. I'm interested to see if
Cool.
that is
Right.
going to be the actual Tommy. It's like they're showing him without addressing him. So I don't know if it's one of those things that he's like from a from another multiverse of Rangers. I don't know, but it's like they show without the surprise or the grand, whatever of showing
Yeah.
like he's gonna be in it. So I don't know. And of
I'm
course,
interested in seeing how they do because like the whole time I was watching the trailer, I was like, don't cry, because all I
Yeah,
think about was Tommy and stuff. And so I want to know who is in the green suit. Like,
yeah, yeah, exactly. And so, because they definitely the trailer is really dope. It is
mhm.
really, really nice. They did a really great job. I'm trying to see here. The
Power
cat.
Rangers is another thing. Mighty Morphin, specifically the movie, is another thing that came out the year I was born, and is one of my favorite things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's definitely up there. I'm trying to see. I watched the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie not too long ago, and then
Mhm.
I watched Turbo not too long ago as well, just because it was on there or whatever. I really love the angle that they're going about this. I hope that if this is the foundation of it, along with fighting off Rita, I think it'll be um really cool. But basically, the daughter of Trini, who was played by I'm gonna just say the last name because I don't want to mess up the first name, but Train, who was a Vietnamese actor. Um, she's playing the daughter of her, which I think is so dope and paying homage to the impact that she made being one of the first American Power Rangers. And so, unfortunately, she actually died back in 2001 from a car wreck. She was only 27.
Mhm.
And so, being able to include that, I think, is a really cool thing to do when it comes to this project. So super, super excited for this. I'm definitely gonna watch it. Going back to what Blaze said, the emotions is definitely there. Not necessarily
Yeah.
addressing, um, what has recently happened with Jason, but more so um just the nostalgia. It seems like they really put great energy into it, and I'm really looking
Hmm.
forward to checking it out on
And they
Netflix.
look great.
Hmm.
Like, for them to be quote unquote old, they look
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. It looked like they really have taken good care of themselves, which, as we know, unfortunately, I don't know if that's still kind of a thing nowadays, which is a good thing, but it's just like sometimes the people that we grew up with, or sometimes it's a one hit wonder thing, and it's just hard to get work, at times. So I'm really glad this opportunity to present themselves because I've definitely been following them on TikTok and other platforms where they go to different Comic Cons and conventions and having good spirits and stuff like that. So yeah, so really looking forward to that. And Blaze, do you like burgers?
I do like burgers. I like
Well,
good burgers, like really
you like,
good burgers.
I really like good burgers. But did you know they was bringing back Good Burger too?
I did. Weren't they recently on a late night show
Yeah,
announcing that?
Fallon. Yeah, Jimmy Fallon. I sent it to you, and I want to know your opinion on it. When I sent it to you, unless you had already knew, what was your first thoughts on knowing that they're bringing back Good Burger and bringing it back to, I believe, Paramount Plus? What did you think?
Oh, I was excited because I mean, I'm always a fan of Keenan and Kel getting some love because they are like, people talk about giving people their flowers. Those are two people that deserve their flowers. And so I'm really excited that they get this opportunity um, to just be them. I hope that and I didn't watch the video, but I did read about it. And so I hope that they have like creative control, they can be producers, all of that stuff. Um, I'm excited for it. I hope it's not corny though.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, comedy just ain't like what it used to be. Things that we used to laugh at back in the day it's just different nowadays. You know what I'm saying? That ain't even
Mhm.
talking about like on the appropriate side because it was a Nickelodeon show and movie, but or segment and movie, but yeah, I really hope it turns out good. It's just a good moment for him, especially Kale. Keenan has done great things with Saturday Night
Mhm.
Live. But both of them kind of got their start on all that, and
Mm-hmm.
that was pretty much a SNL for kids, and
Yeah.
and I loved it, so
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, so I'm really hoping that it turns out, good. If not, hey, at the end of the day, why not do a reboot at this point? We getting them.
Right. And I also hope that this is a good opportunity too for them to bring in some of like their All That and Keenan and Kel castmates to be in the movie. Like the nostalgia is just let it ooze out, you guys.
That would be dope. That would be nice. Yeah, man, that would be nice. I mean, it's been so long, and I think my main thing, I'm just wondering how they're gonna go about it. But that's a good point that you mentioned, like maybe pulling, nostalgia from, the original All That cast and those who kind of came a little bit, after in its, original reign, especially I think it was like 90s, like, in early 2000. Um, how that's gonna go. Cause I mean I'm thinking about Mondo Burger and all these things like that. Like what is what is gonna be the concept, I think is my biggest thing. And I'm pretty sure other people are waiting to hear what it is too. So but yeah, so I believe it's gonna only be available on Paramount Plus. So make sure if you want to check it out, go ahead and get your wallets ready, or make sure you take advantage of
The free
free
trial.
a free trial to be able to
Go
check it
ahead and
out.
make a new email.
Right. Make that new email or whatever the case may be, So but cool. Well,
And
Blaze.
also, speaking of all that, and I know we're probably about to transition into talking about Swarm, but
Yeah.
was it just me or did the lead in Swarm, um, Dominique Fishback, look a lot like Giovanni Samuels from all that?
I'm trying to think. Giovanni. I'm probably
He
know it.
had the locks.
Yes, I can see that.
Like
Yeah.
it was some moments where I was watching and I was like, Giovanni?
Right. Like what?
Because Giovanni is short, and I mean, she still looks really, really young. So I was
Mhm.
like, wait a minute. I was like, oh, okay, this is somebody else. This is somebody else.
I can see that. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I didn't even see that. I mean, that's you dug in the vault for that one, Blaze. That's dope. That's dope. Well, I mean that aligns perfectly with the next one and the final one for the night. We're finally gonna be talking about Swarm, everybody. So if you haven't checked out Swarm, this is spoiler alert. Swarm was pretty crazy, y'all. Swarm was something that I was coming in almost kind of blind to a certain degree. I feel like even though I watched the trailer, like I still really didn't understand what in the heck was going
Mm-hmm.
on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So especially with Blaze just recently ending it, yes, or finishing up last night. Like Blaze, what was your like just overall? Let's start off with the first episode. What was you how would you taking in that first episode? What were you thinking?
Well, like from the trailer, I had an idea of what the show is about, but after I watched the first episode, I was like, okay, so it's a little bit deeper than just about being about a fan who loves this person. And so that's really what locked me in is that seeing that it was just deeper than that and then kind of trying to figure out like what really is this supposed to be about. You know
Mhm.
how you have that surface level topic, but what's the underlying layer? That's what locked me in, trying to
Yeah.
figure what that was.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's just like, okay, she's a fan and she's doing these wild things in the name of the fan. I mean, this fan is doing wild things, which the main character is named Dre,
Mm-hmm.
which as Blaze mentioned is played by Dominique Fishback. And she's a fan of Niger and literally an extreme fan, which of course we're used to those type of things, you know what I'm saying? So, but it's just like, how is this gonna play out? But yeah, like like going back to what you said, it was just very unique to really see how this kind of progressed from the first episode on forward. And I will say, as you kept on going through each episode, like, was it you or was it just me? I felt like the first statements that will pop up before each episode, this is not a work of fiction. Any similarity to actual persons, living or dead, or actual events is intentional. Like, do you feel like for me, it was like, okay, I read it, but then I'm watching it. It's like I almost kind of forget it to a certain degree, or was it really kind of connected as much? Because obviously the artist that Dre is, just a super fan for, of course, is giving Beyonce vibes. But
Mm-hmm.
besides that, it's just like I wasn't thinking that much. But it was like when we got to episode 6, I was like, wait a minute now. Okay. Is this real? You know?
I'm ready. I'm ready. Tag me in. So had those same thoughts, and I'm the type of person where I'm gonna go ahead and get on Google and start looking stuff up. And so I started reading things by the one of the creators of the show. What's her name? Janine Neighbors. I think that's her name. But so their intentions with each episode was having it to be based off of something that really happened. So, for example, the Who Bit Naja thing. Well, somebody bit Beyonce, according to Tiffany Haddish, and it was a whole thing of like, who bit Beyonce? Who bit Beyonce? That was based off of that situation. Or even towards the end where Dre as Tony ran on stage, that was based off of somebody who actually did run on a stage at a music festival. So they were taking all these little real moments and putting it in the show to kind of show something or prove their point or whatever. So that's what they really meant, or at least that's what I'm taking it as, is this is not a work of fiction, meaning these things actually happen, but it's kind of like with like true crime, how they always do reenactments.
Yeah.
Essentially, this show is just a reenactment of true events,
Wow.
dramatized.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Look at Blaze. That's wild, man. Cause like I like because like 1 through 5 is just like okay, okay. Especially the one where she pretty much gets tricked into a dang cult. you know. Um and
That was based on, what is it, the Nixum cult
so that was
in
based on
the I'm trying to remember what show that lady was on who helped that cult out. I can't remember. I don't want to say the wrong show, but it was
yeah.
some actress who helps like bring people into the Nixum cult. And that's essentially who Billie Eilish was supposed to be.
Come on, man. And like I don't follow Billie Eilish, pretty much not at all. I know, she's talented and stuff like that or whatever. Um, I know Billie Eilish is talented, but I've just never really got into the music and deep. I know some songs, but I don't know all the songs. And so when I look back on like IMDb or was looking online or wherever like that, and I was like, Aja, the cult leader was Billie Eilish. She was like, what? I said, yeah, like she was Billie. She was like, what? I was like, yeah, it's crazy, right? And so yeah, I mean, Billie did the thing
She
for real.
did. For her first acting role, she did a really good job.
Very, very much so. And I was like, wow, this is wild, man. And so, um, but yeah, like, and just kind of talking about performances, like this was like a secretly power packed
Mm-hmm.
show, when it comes to casting, like Chloe Bailey played the sister
Miranda
of Dre.
Jackson. I mean, Marissa Jackson.
Yeah. And Also Paris Jackson. Like ain't this what you said, Blaze?
Hmm. She
Yeah,
played
like
Haley, the stripper.
yeah. So I am shook right now. Like that was Paris Jackson, and
Hmm.
she played the whole stripper. Y'all, if those of you are still trying to like which stripper and all this stuff like that, that was the one who was in this domestic uh abusive relationship with this guy, and Dre ends up killing him, and then eventually basically end up killing the stripper too. Like the stripper that was hanging out with her, staying in a hotel room, whatever like that, or a motel or
Hmm.
whatever. That was freaking Paris Jackson, aka Michael Jackson's daughter.
Hmm.
So that I was like, whoa. So, but yeah, like you had, Damson Idris, which most people know him from Snowfall. He did a really great job. Chris Summers, who comes from a different world, and also who has played a lot of voiceover roles when it comes to, like, I think she was in Rugrats and so many other things and stuff like that. Just look up the name, you're gonna see all of them, or you can probably go on YouTube and see all of them. But super talented. Of course, Dominique Fishback, who just it took a true and great actor to play that role.
She killed it.
I wouldn't see why at least an Emmy nomination and
Hmm.
maybe Screen Actors Guild nomination wouldn't be in the talks after
Yeah.
that performance.
And
Um,
my guy Leon was in it from the Temptations.
yeah, I'm talking about you, Otis. Anybody here for you, Otis? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Ain't nobody talking about you, Dre.
hey man, Leon wasn't playing.
Right.
He was about to buzz a head off, man. Like, I was like, what?
He was like, get up at my house.
Hey, he tripped that line about, hey, this is Texas.
Uh-huh.
I'll lay you out and drink a Coke right over here. I was like, wait a minute, man.
I mean, hey, it is Texas. So he ain't lying.
I was like, man, like this is just wow. So, um, and speaking of like that whole scenario, man, like how did you feel like going from like what was your experience about finding out the true dynamic of Dre and I can't think of her name at the moment right now, but Chloe's character, as
Um,
far as them
Marissa.
Marissa being sisters or whatever, to like that whole scene in the movie. I mean, in the house and everything like that.
I was happy to finally get some answers because the first episode when she goes to her funeral and they say that the family wants you to leave, I was like, okay, so they not sisters, so they must be like best friends.
Mhm.
And then I was like, I don't know. I think it's something more than them just like being best friends who feel like they sisters. And so I
Right.
was happy to finally get some answers, knowing that they were foster sisters. But the reason why the family asked her to leave was because they gave her back.
Yeah, that's trippy. That was real
Mm-hmm.
trippy. And did you catch where, Dre was in the coat, and, around the moment that she was pretty much kind of being brainwashed, and she started revealing not only her true name, but she was talking about spilling milk and end up being
Mm-hmm.
blood on the floor. Did you
Mm-hmm.
realize that came up in the sixth episode? Like how like what was actually going on?
Yeah. Like, then she basically killed her grandmother.
Well, I don't know about the grandmother part, but as far as like she was wrestling with the girl.
Oh, you're talking about the sleepover. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Which I mean, heck, it make you wonder what the reason why she was in foster care, because something happened to the grandmother or something. You know.
Yeah. I mean, well, I'm thinking back to like the cult episode when she said my grandmother. I mean, I would think that she probably did kill her grandmother. And so when she attacked the girl at the sleepover, she went back to that moment because that was probably the first time that she ever hurt somebody again since hurting her grandmother.
Hmm. Yeah. And it made me wonder, like, depending on what age she was when that happened, like, was it an accident? Like, what was going on? Or she just kind of blanked, psychotic, Um,
I mean,
especially for
that
her
kind of
being
remind
foster.
me. I don't know if you watched Dexter. If you haven't, it's an amazing show.
Okay.
But that reminds me of Dexter. Like the reason why he essentially became a serial killer is because when he was young, he saw his mom get completely butchered. And he was just like they say that he always uses the phrase, I was born in blood, because when they finally found him, he was surrounded by like almost a pool of blood. And so that stayed with him. And as he got older, he started having like these urges to hurt people or to kill people. So that reminded me of Dexter.
Dang. That's wild. That is wild. Yeah,
Yeah. And since
I
we're
think
talking about, what'd you say?
no, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, since we're talking about episode 6, that was actually my favorite episode because it reminded me of an episode from the last season of Atlanta,
Mm,
season 4, episode 8. It was called "The Goof Who Sat by the Door," and
mm,
basically that episode was about this guy Thomas Washington, who was the first Black CEO of Walt Disney, and he only got the job because I think because he was in the room. And he just basically got the job by default. And I remember the experience of watching that episode because I was sitting in my room. I was on my phone, I'm gonna be honest. And I was like, this is actually a really interesting because they did it like a documentary style, just like in Swarm. And so I was like, let me look Thomas Washington up. Corgan, the man is not a real man. They convinced me that this man was real. And so I was going through that same experience with episode 6 of Swarm. I was like, wait a minute, is this real?
right.
Wait, I'm bag. And then when we got to the end, and Donald Glover was like, "Yeah, I'm working on this show with Dominique Fishback," and I was like, "Wow, y'all are really dope for this." I wonder why they didn't make that the
Mm-hmm.
7th episode.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, okay. So really what we are watching is the documentary or like the show or whatever that he based off of it. And then they giving us this backstory, which
Mm,
also ties into like that message that they put on the beginning of each episode. This is not a work of fiction, because when you go back to episode 6, if this was a true story, then it's not a work of fiction.
true. True. Yeah. Wow. That's yeah, I mean, that just shows the like deep creativity and almost kind of like this kind of like world or universe that they're kind of developing between Donald Glover and his team to Jordan Peele as well and stuff like that, which I saw that he's getting ready to release something possibly at the end of this year, I believe, possibly. So
I think they said
uh
next year, on Christmas next year.
maybe you may be right. You may be right, especially if if it was just announced and not in production. But yeah, so I mean I definitely get it. It's pretty wild. Like I said, 2006, episode 6, really had Audrey and I going like, hold on now, is this really, and they didn't make it any better when they was talking about Arkansas. I'm like, wait a minute now, so yeah,
Right. I
but
was gonna
no,
say, hey, Little Rock.
oh man, yeah,
What it
it was
is.
right, man. It's just like, okay, we're gonna pop us in there. She didn't come through Arkansas, but okay, we're gonna let that slide,
And I'm actually happy you mentioned that it mentions Arkansas, because that's another thing that I really liked about the show. So I'm a writer, and what I want to create in my writing is just more stories about Black people, specifically Black people from the South. And so I
Mm,
love that this show took place primarily in Houston, and then they explored other places in the South like Atlanta, Memphis, Arkansas. I was like, okay, let's
yeah,
get more of this, because everything does not have to take place in LA or New York. There are other places that exist. The South
Right.
exists.
Right.
And it's a lot of us Black people here in the South, despite, the
What you
South's
see.
heritage.
Yes. Yes, yes, I'm definitely there with you on a creative side. I'm glad they did do that. I don't know how many of them or if any of the people from the cast are from the South, but I will say that, I really do, like you said, appreciate it that they're showing that because it's true. Like literally black art and a lot of other art wouldn't be what it is today if it wasn't for a lot of Southern artists. Like literally Beyonce is from Houston. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
BB King came from Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, that alone, shows you Little Wayne's from New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? So it goes on and on and on. So oh, and then what? Justin Timberlake, he's from Tennessee. I think he's from
He from
Memphis.
Tennessee. Yep.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's just
A
the
lot
the
of
South.
rap today is influenced by Atlanta as a
See?
whole.
Exactly. Exactly. So, hey, I don't know, man. We just here. What do we know, right? So, but anyway, but that's really dope, man. Like overall, I really enjoyed the experience of this, something fresh, something different, good storytelling.
Hmm.
The ending really got me. I'm kind of like you, Blaze. I almost would have felt a little bit better if they would have used episode 6 for episode 7. I thought
Hmm.
episode 6 was gonna be leading to her catching her or whatever like that, but yeah,
I
but it is
mean,
what it is.
episode 6 spoiled episode 7. That's why I said I'm wonder why they put it before, because at the end of episode, and I take that back. I see why they did it, because at the end of episode 7, she gets in the car with Naja. Well, that was her imagination. We
Mhm.
know from episode 6 that she got arrested, you know?
That is true. That is true. That is true. I ain't even. That is true. Yeah. So technically, there was the ending in 6
Right.
because I do remember when she ran on stage. I was like, oh, that happened in episode 6, but I didn't keep on thinking about well, she did get caught. So that is true. You was on it, Blaze, with this one, man. Like, okay, I see. So that's dope. But yeah, like overall, really dope show. We definitely love to know what y'all thought about the show. I know it's still kind of hot right now, whatever. We may end up posting on our Facebook and Instagram page, and y'all can share with us what y'all thought, what were y'all favorite parts, all this stuff like that. And go on from there or whatever. But Blaze, do you have any other last thoughts?
I do. I have one more.
Go ahead.
Corgan, who's your favorite artist?
Naja, 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 Naja.
Right, because she got 26 Grammys, okay?
Oh man, that's funny. That's funny. Yeah, man. Naja all the way, I guess, So
Oh, one more. Oh, actually, though, one more real thing for real. So a
yeah.
lot of people have been saying that they think Dre killed Marissa. And I agree with them, because I feel like when they had that argument, she blacked out and she killed her. And that's kind of why she went crazy with her nausea obsession, because that's something that they like bonded over. And so instead of facing the fact that she killed somebody that she really cared about, she thought, I'm going to avenge her death by killing anybody who's against somebody we love. Because think about it, she was texting herself from the girl's phone.
Yeah.
So if she thought to do that time, at that point, after she died, who's to say that she didn't also do that beforehand?
And it's also one, I mean, that's a good point because it's also like, which is a very unique way to do it, but it's almost like Naja wasn't really Naja for her. It was really Marissa
Right.
because they put they put her face on Naja at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And and it's almost like it wasn't really Naja that she was defending. It was like you said, it was kind of like her defending um, Marissa in a sense. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Um, That is a good point because it doesn't seem. It seems like she's a fan of hers, but it seems like it's not really heightened until after she dies.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you said, she's trying to defend her. So that is a very unique point to that. Yeah, I kind of wondered about it, but I guess in my head I was just trying to figure out how would that make sense when, because she had to have left. She had to have left because she kept on sending her videos and calling her and stuff like that, like she wanted to come get her, or
What,
whatever like
but
that.
were they videos or were they just her reading the text messages in her head? Because when she opened her phone, we saw the messages, but we didn't see like videos and stuff. It was just messages.
True. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's. I mean, I can see it. I guess like the only reason why I also feel like it was an intentional thing because there was a lot of things that kind of hit it all one time. Because it seemed like both of them or one of them lost their job at the
Mm.
place, and then when she was doing Dre's hair earlier, they showed where she had, attempted, either just cutting herself or, potentially, suicide, and they really don't say much else about it. And then the next thing you know, she's, in her bed or wherever like that. And she's literally like completely surprised. And I think the only thing for me, but I totally get why, the wonder, because I was kind of wondering that too. The only thing that made it hard for me to go there is the mark that was already on her wrist, and then also like there not being like an investigation to figure out if she ever done it. Because I don't even think the detective even brought that up as far as
Mm-hmm.
like something for them to look deep into. But I can see how they was playing with us to make us wonder, like, shoot, did she black out and do that to her? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but it's a wild show. I mean, even from that point of view, y'all, I definitely love to know what y'all thought about that. How y'all feel? Do you feel like Dre, did all these things and stuff like that or whatever? And so far, but I mean, really great acting, great cast, awesome job, and looking forward to the next one. That is our time. As we always say, we're here for a good time, not a long time. And again, we appreciate y'all for supporting our platform and tuning in. And we definitely just really encourage you to make sure that y'all, we on YouTube now, so share your comments. If you want to share some, if you want to engage with us on social media, please do that. We love engagement. We want y'all to be involved as much as possible and just have a good time discussing storytelling. So that's it for us. Have a good one. Peace.
Peace.